I have never met a coach who quit coaching because they couldn't coach. You're going to have to stop a minute, mate, because you just said to me about holding space. Nobody knows what holding space is apart from coaches. Understanding what is the problem that you solve, because if you don't understand it clearly, you have no chance of selling that to other people. It's just ridiculous. It's preposterous. Your client avatar feeds into your copy, your content, any courses you do, books you do.
Hello and welcome to Living Rich, Sirop. This is the show where we help you get reconnected to your truth, just like I had to do once upon a time. Today, my guest is Tim Brownson. After a 20-year career in sales, Tim decided to give coaching a try and struggled to get clients for nearly 3 years. In 2005, he figured it out and took his website from nothing to one that was getting 50,000 unique visitors per month and a robust waiting list of clients paying up to $5,000 each. Now, through his business, The Fully Booked Coach, he coaches other coaches how to do the same thing. Tim, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Rich.
So many people out there are making promises of, you scale your business up to $20,000 a month in the first month, become fully booked in a month. And what I love about you is you don't make false promises. You tell the truth. You say, hey, this is going to take at least a year. And you don't hold back on information. Those other people give you nothing. You lay it all out there. What made you want to say, here, I'm a giver. I'm going to give you this. I'm not going to make you see me as a coach in order to give you something. I'm going to give before we even work together.
I worked originally for my old man, for my dad, when I was first got into sales, and he was very much a handshake guy. And you do business, you keep your word, and it takes you 50 years, so 20 years to build up your reputation, and 20 minutes to lose it if you let somebody down. I think I come from that background. Plus, also, I got into following Seth Godin way back when, probably 20 years ago now, reading a couple of his books. And then I've been on his newsletter list, I think, probably 20 years. And Seth's a very ethical marketer, and it is about just turning up and helping people. And I said in that Facebook thread yesterday that I have literally never pitched anybody via DM, whether that's on LinkedIn, whether that's on Facebook, or Reddit or any. I got, back in the day when I first sort of joined Twitter, and being April 2008, I got a load of clients from Twitter just by helping people, because the people who want to take the free stuff, they'll take it anyway, and that's fine. I don't mind, because some people can't afford to hire me, but other people can see that, well, this guy clearly knows what he's talking about. And, if he gives this amount of stuff for free, what will I get if I'm working with him? I don't tell him it's nothing. That's all I've got.
I've already given it all. Yeah, sometimes when I'm working with clients, I do so much social media, I think, because it might come up. It's real. The stuff I'm doing online is real, genuine advice and modalities that I've learned. And so then I have somebody and I start explaining to them how life is like a river, and they're fighting the river right now. And I'm like, well, I hope they haven't seen that video. So what if they have? It's still the same piece of advice, but they needed to hear it in that moment.
Right. Well, I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy. And, we went to see Jimmy Carr a couple of weeks ago, who's pretty big in the UK and gaining steam in the US. And it's the third time I've seen Jimmy Carr. Now, he doesn't use the same gags more than once, but he's a real touring comic. So he'll do a lot of venues in any tour, and he'll be telling the same joke, scores and scores of times. Plus, it'd have told it scores of times when he was working on new material, to the point you're sick to death of it. But he doesn't. You should be getting sick to death of your own best material, I suppose, is what I'm saying. If you've got something of value, most people won't have heard it, or maybe they've heard it and they didn't take it in, or they've forgotten and they need reminding. And I think it's important. We shouldn't presume that other people have heard this, or if they've heard it, they don't need to hear again, that now is the time to hear something, because sometimes we're just not receptive to hearing things.
When it comes to coaching and coaching coaches, do you have an ideal client? Like, this is the perfect client for me. This, when they're at this stage, when they have this passion.
Yeah, I do. I mean, because if I didn't, that would be like me saying I haven't got a client avatar, and I tell my coach clients that they've got to have a client avatar. So yes, I do. I mean, my ideal client is somebody who's really come from a professional background that sees coaching as a profession, not a side gig or a bit of a roll of the dice to see what they can get with it. Somebody who's prepared to get offline because the online space is so crowded now, and I think it's really difficult for new coaches. Somebody that is prepared to expect to spend money on building, putting the infrastructure in place. So I get frustrated when people, I did an offer of some free coaching. I'm probably going back, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago now. And a woman applied for it. I had loads of people apply for it. And this one woman said, Tim, if you told me it was $5, because it was when I was still living in America, I still couldn't afford it. And I wrote back, I'm like, look, if you haven't got $5, you can't start a business. And I
No.
know that's, it doesn't say, oh, you're a dream crusher. No, it's just the reality. There are business expenses. And nobody set up any other type of business, but it's like coaching. I'm just going to help people. And that, yeah, that's not how it works. It's somebody who sees it as a profession, as a long-term thing, that's feeling frustrated, doesn't know who to trust because, we touched on this before, maybe it was before we started, the amount of people that are out there trying to sell to coaches and, new coaches have got their head on a swivel, haven't they, really? They're just being bombarded from all sides. And, those types of people, it would be my ideal client. But I also did, I work with coaches that are absolutely brand new, that aren't don't come from a professional background. So my cross section is broad, but that would be an ideal client for me, I'd
How
say.
much do you think being a great coach, being great at actually coaching, is related to
Mm.
being a successful business coach? Well, coach,
Very
it's
little.
not a business
Yeah,
coach,
very little. I
right?
think, the reason why you could have said, Tim, why were you doing all this training right the way up until 2008? It sounds like you just would do, because I just thought, okay, I just need to be the best coach I can be, and that's what's going to bring me clients in. It really doesn't. It's not about that. It's about how you can market yourself. I've seen terrible coaches who know how to market themselves do well. And I've seen, I have never met a coach who quit coaching because they couldn't coach.
Yeah.
It's always, I just couldn't get enough clients. Always.
Yes,
I've
you're absolutely.
literally,
Oh my God.
in all 20 years, I've never heard a coach say to me, I'm just not very good at coaching, Tim. Never say that.
I think
So,
sometimes the best coaches, and I've thought about this, it's possible that the very best coaches that have ever existed have never been successful at coaching. If they didn't know how to market, if
oh,
they
yeah,
didn't
of
know how to
course
run a
it, yeah,
business, they
yeah,
couldn't get there.
yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's highly probable. I mean, you could say the same about a lot of things, but there aren't many industries where if it's sports, for example, imagine you're a fantastic golfer or football player or whatever it is, the cream rises to the top.
Um,
Yeah.
what do you think are the three biggest mistakes that people trying to start a new coaching business make?
Three biggest mistakes. Well, I think not starting the marketing before they finish the coaching. So thinking, oh, I've got to get coaching and then I'll start my marketing. So that's the first thing. And you almost never see coaches do that. I actually did start my marketing, but it was more through luck than judgment. So I'm not going to get that. So doing that, not knowing what the client avatar is. So I would say probably half of the coaches that hire me have already got a website, and none of them have got a client avatar. So
Mm.
it's like, how do you know what? How do you know what your message is? How do you know what your position statement is? How do you know how to design it? Because the design is going to be different for 20 somethings as it is for 50. For for different genders. It's going to, it's just ridiculous. It's preposterous. Your client avatar feeds into your copy, your content, any courses you do, books you do, how you're messaging, which social media platforms you use when you're online, where you hang out offline, if at all. So that will be the second thing. And the third thing would be not treating it like a business, just thinking, I get driven to distraction by coach speak. And by the way, I did it. So it's all this. And somebody said it to me the other day. And I just said to him, John, you're going to have to stop a minute, mate, because you just said to me about holding space. Nobody knows what holding space is apart from coaches. Now, if you want to go and talk to other coaches about holding space, they'll know, oh, yeah, I've been holding space for... No, people just want to know what is the problem that you solve. So I suppose that loops to that is like understanding what is the problem that you solve. Because if you don't understand it clearly, you have no chance of selling that to other people who don't even know you are. Coaches tend to think that they've got more of people's attention than they ever have. And for the most, we have snippets of attention, and we've got to drill home with our message for a fraction of a moment. If we can't do it, guess what? They've gone, and they're never coming back.
I love Tony Robbins says, make your mess your message. That to me is such a great, because it's hard to figure out where to point the compass when you're first starting.
Yeah.
Who's my ideal client? Everybody starts the same way. I want to help everybody. There's nobody who I don't want to help. Well, okay,
you do. Yeah.
Everybody. You have to speak to, and then you try one, but it doesn't work. And then you go, that's not really even who I want. And then you go, wait a second. What about me? What about a guy who made a lot of money, was married to the wrong person, lost all that money, didn't have joy in his life, had a major health crisis, had to get reconnected to who he was. That's who I got through it. And then once you find, but it's not so easy to find that avatar sometimes. But really, a lot of times I think it's just looking in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. I mean, if you can be your own client avatar, you are the person that you know most about. And just going back to people can coach. Any good coach, especially anybody who's trained with coactive coaching, the acid test for being a good coach is, can you sit down on a park bench, and coach the person sat next to you? And you should be able to, presuming you can communicate, speak the same language, etc. So, and you can do that. So I have coaches saying to me all the time, well, I can coach anybody. Yeah, you can, but you can't market to everybody. And that's the big difference. Because if you go wide, too many coaches are so vanilla that they end up, I don't appeal to many people, Rich. So you're one of a small percentage of people that find my message appealing. A lot of people don't, because guess what? I'll talk about politics, and people have said to me, you can't talk about politics. Now I'm much to the left, you can't do that. Well, just watch me. I've been doing it now for 20 years. But, for the rest, for everybody else, no, I'm not right. And that's fine, because I can only deal with, I only work with it. Yeah, I've probably got 40 clients that are live, of which half of those are sort of in hiatus at one stage or another at any one time. So I don't need that many people.
You see 40 at one time?
No. I've got 40. I'm pointing down here because I literally have paper folders for each client. Okay. I know it's old school, isn't it? Even you're looking, wow.
Yeah, I know you want to talk about AI today. We're going to get into that. Paper folder guy wants to talk about AI.
Yeah, well, because it's just how it evolved. Because when I started, there wasn't, any of the facilities. I'm making excuses for myself. So, where was I going? Drag me back. Let's talk about AI.
I use AI. I'm not afraid of AI. I embrace AI.
I use it a lot, yeah.
And I get very frustrated by AI sometimes, and sometimes I love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like AI is I could misuse it if I wasn't authentic and careful. It has its purpose, but it's not for everything. What do you think? How do you think people are misusing AI?
Well, we see it every day, don't we? In terms of long blog posts, not blog posts, long Facebook comments, that clearly written by AI. Not just because of the M dashes. You can get the rule of three that they all use now, and just I can spot an AI comment, and you see people, and usually or often they're not don't English isn't their native tongue, so you can understand why they would use AI, but they go to overkill these massive long comments or posts in the first place. So I think that's a misuse of AI, because I don't see that it's a problem in and of itself, but what people are trying to do with your online presence, you're trying to position yourself as credible, as an expert, and so you can build authority and ultimately trust. Well, if you're sharing ideas on a topic you don't really know intimately, then should you be doing that? I saw something on LinkedIn yesterday. Well, it's if the content's good, what difference does it make? Well, it does, because it's where it came from. And am I now going to hire this person thinking they know this topic really well when they don't? I'm sure I could knock up an article on superstring theory, Rich, that would make you think I knew something about superstring theory if you didn't know anything about AI. But I really don't. I'm really lacking on the superstring theory knowledge. So I think if you're trying to position yourself as being something you're not, as being more adept or more knowledgeable about a topic that you don't really understand. I mean, the good thing about writing, I still don't really use AI for writing. I might use it to polish something up, or sometimes if I can't figure out a transition between two paragraphs, but it can't get near my writing because there's so much humor, and I don't write in a traditional sense because I'm self-taught and what have you. But I writing an idea. I had to do this today actually in my Reddit sub, and somebody asked me, it was a question about AI, ironically, and having to write down the answer made me think it through a lot more, and it made me understand what I was trying to explain and the idea. And it was the idea that I think AI, what's going to happen with the coaching industry is it's going to wipe out the people at the bottom that are competing on price, that then will make it easier for the people at the top, because then coaching becomes like a luxury item. Now, the problem we've got at the moment, and this is a bit that I was finding difficult to explain, the problem we've got at the moment is that the public already see it as a luxury item. So there are coaches selling a luxury item that they don't know is a luxury item, and they think people need, and they're not realizing they're having to sell the concept of coaching before they can sell themselves. So that a double sell in sales is just ridiculously difficult to do. So those people are just going to get wiped out, because also they're going to start seeing their friends start using AI as chatbots for coaching, and they'll be the people most easily discouraged or not likely to join the industry. So I think we're going to have a massive sort of contraction of the industry over the next 5 years. Hugely, I think you'll see 80 to 90% of coaches drop out.
You're absolutely right. What a great point. They are not just not understanding that they have a luxury item at their price point. They're selling the luxury item to people who can't afford it. Their target, their avatar is not a client that can pay for the service that they're providing. So you need to understand, if you're saying, I want to help people who are unemployed find work as a coach, your price point has to match that, because those people are not paying you premium dollars for a coach.
Right, exactly. And I have the same problem, Rich. That I'm not super expensive. My most expensive package is $3,000. But most coaches haven't got that to spend, and a lot have spent everything they've got or had or could borrow and put it into training, not knowing that wasn't going to be sufficient. Because let's face it, the training companies aren't going to tell you that that's the starting point. That's just the entry point. It's not what's going to get you. It's like going to culinary school and not realizing, well, you got to buy a restaurant.
Right.
Now you got to set up
Yeah.
a proper business, run it, because there's no jobs in coaching. You're not going to get a job. Nobody's going to employ you as a coach. I mean, I say nobody, the chance of that happening is infinitesimally small.
And if you
So,
learn how to make French food, and then you go,
yeah,
okay, now I need to learn how to make German food. Now I need to, you could
right,
go forever
right.
learning,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
like to learn and I always want to grow. But that, as a coach, as a business person, I tie that into my profits. So I say, I will
Mm,
not take any more coaching classes or learn any more modalities until I reach this goal because I'm
mm.
not pouring money into something that's not rewarding me. That's part of my plan.
Right, and some coaches will do that with their marketing. So I've heard coaches say loads of times, yeah, I'll have a website done when I've got some clients.
Oh no,
It's
can't do that.
you
Can't do
yeah,
that.
I don't know how are you going to get the clients then. I'm not saying the jury's out on where websites are going because of AI, but you can't say I'll do the marketing after I've got the clients. The marketing is to get the clients in the first place. You won't get any if you don't
Yeah,
do
they're
it.
still there now. The websites are still there now. People are still getting business from them. So, you
Oh,
have
I am. Yeah, I mean, it's still my biggest. I just don't know where it's going to go over the
totally. But
next
people told
5 years.
me when I started, I did my own website, not getting a lot
Right.
of traction on that website. I was not handling SEO right. I did it through Squarespace. And I met a person who I really liked who does this is what he does. He creates websites and he manages your SEO. And it was a cost. There was a cost to it, obviously, right?
Mm,
And so people told me, don't do it. Don't, the SEO is going away. AI is going to change everything. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. And I said, right now, that's the game. The game is still played in that arena, even if it's just for a year before it changes.
mm.
I can't always be waiting technology wise. If you wait for AI to do something, then you're going to be waiting for the next thing. You have to play the game where it is.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look a year or so down the road, but that's about as far as you. I listen to some of the real top people in AI in the space that look at it more strategically, and they just don't know. They really do not know where it's going. So you can just do your best, and you can just, okay, well, what can I do today? Would I advise a client of mine to go all in on the SEO if they were starting today? No, absolutely. But if somebody's already got a site and they were starting to rank, would I say stop doing that now? No, absolutely. I wouldn't do that
Right.
either. I'm still doing some SEO work. I'm just not putting the effort into it. I'm trying to diversify as much as possible and go across as many platforms as possible and just to be omnipotent. Really, that's my goal. Is to be omnipotent.
Have you ever tried to use AI just as a to see how it would coach you? To actually go in there and say, "Hey, I'm having this problem. Can you help me?"
Do you mean for like personal
Yeah,
problems
just to
as an
see, because you
individual?
had said AI will replace a lot of coaches and we'll do therapy. I've actually tested it to see how it would coach.
No, one of my best mates uses it all the time, daily. But no, I've
It
not.
is
No.
all about making you feel good, telling you what you want
Yeah,
to hear, and never asks questions ever. It just constantly tells you that you're right and everybody else is wrong, and it's dangerous. I find so far until it changes because it'll turn you. Everybody's gaslighting you. People are doing things that are wronging you. It's on your side and making you
mm,
feel good, but it's turning you against the people that it's all fictitious when I was in there. I would go on Reddit and find a relationship problem and enter it and see what advice it would give me.
oh, right. Okay.
And then it would lead me down these paths that were like, I'm the hero. Everybody else is the villain. And it was a lot
Yeah.
of just really makes you feel good. You're great. You're awesome, but everybody else is the problem. And as you know, in coaching, if you can't be at the cause, not the effect, you're going to have problems in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, I've got a friend who uses it all the time, but he's going through therapy and he uses it as like as a complementary type of thing. But I'd not thought about it like that because I've not used it. I've just bounced back it. But what I do is I always ask it if it gives me, because like you say, it's going to agree with your idea, Tim. You're fantastic, and if I've got something that's important, I want to know, are we on the right track? I will, I will give it a role I use Dan Kennedy. I don't know if you know who Dan Kennedy
Yep.
is. He's an
Yep. I don't use it,
old
but I know
school.
it.
So I give it the role of playing Dan Kennedy, and you really dislike me, and you've had a bad day, and I've popped up on you, and you want to destroy me and make me look stupid because I've got this idea to do that. And then when I do that and put it in that role and give it the context and everything, it will come back and tell me any flaws that are in it that maybe I hadn't seen. I think it's important for people to do that, because I've heard people say, "Oh, just tell it, to be honest, or not to." It doesn't react to that. That's not you. You've got to get it to start tearing down the idea.
Oh,
Otherwise,
I
you're
love
just
that.
gonna,
I love that.
yeah,
I'm going to use that because I that's what I've been doing. Be honest. I want to hear the truth. Don't
yeah.
lie.
It won't tell you. It's not set up. I won't say program because you're not programmed as such, but it's not set up to work like that. You really want to start again with a different task for it. You could even say, I've got somebody who wants to take my customers and they've come up with this idea. I want to be able to go back at them and say why this idea sucks.
I got
There's,
three quick questions for you before you. And these are quick,
okay,
quick questions.
go.
Put these in order of importance: adaptability, work ethic, passion.
Uh, wow. I mean, if you'd have said what are the three most important things, adaptability, work ethic, and passion, uh,
In
do
order
you
to be
know,
successful in a business.
I'm going to put passion third, uh, work ethic, and then adaptability at the top. I think at the moment, if you're not adaptable, you're going to just get steamrolled.
I have them in the exact same order. Every single person I've asked this question to so far has given me that order. It's interesting.
Mm.
Nothing more
Well, we're all
important than
geniuses,
adaptability.
Rich, clearly.
Huh?
We're clearly all geniuses.
So yeah, so when I have somebody who doesn't give me that order, I'm going to say, "Oh, forget. I'm not even airing this part.
Yeah,
Forget it."
I'm just pull the cable at the back of the computer. It's like the
What
opposite.
I love dogs. I have a Cavapoo. You have two Dobermans, right?
Do yeah.
So what do two Dobermans teach you about happiness and presence?
Well, I mean, obviously, dogs. I mean, they're only ever in the moment, aren't they? They never struggle to get to sleep at night, or. So yeah, I mean, I've had dogs. We've had Dobermans for 30 years. So not the same ones. They're not the oldest living Dobermans. So yeah, just yeah, enjoy it while it's here. I've got the Moors here. I'm 63 tomorrow. And we have the ability to go onto the beach or onto the moors or what have you. There'll come a time when I can't do that, probably sooner with my back, probably sooner rather than later. So it's just enjoy it. They're not stressing about what AI is going to be doing in 2 years' time, are they?
Even when you're starting a business, no matter what you're doing, no matter what adversity you're in, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I mean it is, and it is really important. And and it's easy for us to say at a later stage. I know you're younger than me, Rich, but it, it's just super, super critical because it's always this, yeah, when I've done this, then I can relax and take it easy and then I can enjoy it. And we'd gone back to watching an old series of Race Across the World, the UK version, and we started watching it. And we found out halfway through, it was the first ever series, there's a young lad in it who's like 19, I think. He's with his mum. He was killed about a month ago in a car
Wow.
accident. This was recorded about 4 years ago. So much of the stuff now, when they're talking, is so poignant because you're
Wow.
thinking, yeah, he didn't. He only had another 4 years, and it's just like, and he kept saying, "I just want to enjoy this. I'm not worried about the money, the prize money. I want to enjoy it with my mom and what have you." And she said, "Yeah, there's just loads of stuff. I mean, you probably wouldn't have noticed that if you didn't know after, that he'd been killed." So, yeah, there's a lot of shit going down in the world at the moment, and make the most of it while the
I always
world's
tell
still.
people there's no finish line. It's
No,
do not be looking for a finish line because when you get to
no,
what you think is the finish line, you're going to be even more unhappy than you were during the climb.
yeah,
Because if you think that's going to make you happy, you're going to be devastated when you get there and you realize that you needed to be happy along the way.
yeah, yeah.
And then the final question of the podcast: what would 85-year-old Tim tell you about what you need to be happy for the remaining time between now and 85?
Uh, can 85-year-old Tim tell me whether I should hold on to my Bitcoin? Because
No,
that's
I don't
getting
even think
awfully
85 year. I think
tempting.
85-year-old Tim would still be wondering whether or not he should hold on to that Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. What would 85-year-old say? I don't know. I'm pretty phlegmatic about that stuff these days. I never used to be, but I kind of am now. Um, yeah, I'm good with that, Rich, to be
You're
honest.
so
I
in the
mean,
present moment.
yeah, I don't know about in the present moment. I mean, there's stuff, yeah, there's bits and bobs and stuff, but there's sometimes, I'm never going to hit enlightenment. I'm fairly confident I'm not going to hit enlightenment or nirvana or anything like
Maybe
that. So
awakening. Maybe
I'm,
awakening. Awakening is
yeah,
a good
well,
start.
maybe. I'm fairly content with how things are. Yeah, if I could live the rest of my life, and hopefully it is to 85, and beyond, as I am now, I'd be more than happy with that. I haven't got any aspirations I'm not motivated by money. I never have been. I earned good money, but it never was what motivated me, even when I was earning it. I didn't just get it and then I go and go and see the Rams play, fly over to California, when they were in LA the first time. So,
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. This has been amazing. I really appreciate you actually coming on the podcast, taking the time to talk to me
no
today.
problem.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for myself. I'm going to keep watching your content, and eventually I'll probably hire you at some point, and then we'll do
Oh,
another one of
fantastic.
these after I have a very successful business thanks to you.
Good stuff. Thanks a lot, Rich. It's been a lot of fun.